Hello students. So let's start the next lecture of network theory. So today's lecture will discuss the Kirchhoff's laws. So in 1845, uh, uh, a German physicist Kirchhoff developed a pair or a set of rules or laws which deals with the conservation of current and energy within electrical circuits. So these two rules are commonly known as Kirchhoff's circuit laws, with one of Kirchhoff's laws dealing with the current flowing around the closed loop, Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, while the other law deals with the voltage source present in a closed circuit, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. So two laws are there, Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. So Kirchhoff's first law is your Kirchhoff's current law, KCL. What is that Kirchhoff's current law? It states that total current or a charge entering at a junction or a node is exactly equal to the charge or current leaving the node. That is the statement of Kirchhoff's current law. Or you can another way you can state that algebraic sum of the currents meeting at a point is equal to 0. Here, let's say this point in a circuit, this point. I've taken over this point, or this is called as node also. So total entering current should be equal to total leaving current. That is the Kirchhoff's law. So I1 is the entering current, I6 is the entering current, I4 is the entering current, I3 is the entering current. I2 and I5 are leaving current. So I1 plus I6 plus I4 plus I3 should be equal to I2 plus I5. That is the Kirchhoff's current law. Total current entering at a node is equal to the total current leaving at that node. That same I have written here in the form of mathematical. Okay, so this is the Kirchhoff's current law. And also Kirchhoff's current law KCL works based on the principle of law of conservation of charge. So here there is a conservation of charge because total current is conserved at that point. Whatever it is entering is current. Whatever total current is entering is equal to the total current leaving. Means there is a current law of conservation of charge because current is related to charge. So now let's see here another two important concepts. Say what is the node? I mentioned here that this point is node. So let's see what how you are identifying the node. So nodes are two types. One is simple node, another is principal node. Yeah. So let's take here one circuit. In with that circuit, R1, R2, R3, and R4. These four resistors are there. One voltage source is there, V. And this point, let's say S1, this point S2, this point P1, and this point P2. So P1 and P2 are called as principal node, and S1 and S2 are called as simple node. Node is what? Whenever two or more than two elements are meeting at a point, that point is called as the node. Here, so when two electrical elements are connected together, then the common point is called as a simple node. When only two electrical elements, one see here, one resistor and one voltage source is connected here. So this point is a simple node. When more than two elements are connected together, then the common point is called as principal node. For example, this point, this R1 is connected, R2 is connected, R3 is connected. So more than two elements are connected together at this point. So this point is called as a principal node. Yeah. But S1, P1, S2, P2, all these are your nodes only. But S1 and S2 are simple nodes, P1 and P2 are your principal node. That is about the node. Now let's see here the current division rule, because already we have seen the Kirchhoff's current law. So let's see the current division rule. So what is that current division rule? Current division rule states that it is said that the current in any of the parallel branches, if so many parallel branches are there in your circuit, so current in any of the parallel branches is equal to the ratio of opposite branch resistance to the total resistance multiplied by the total current. Means in your circuit, if so many parallel branches are there, and so many currents are there, and you have to find the individual current with respect to your total current. Then you can apply the current division rule by so let's derive the current division rule formula. So let's say this circuit I have taken here. In this circuit, R1 and R2, two resistors are connected parallel, and the total voltage applied to the circuit Vs, the source voltage, is equal to V. Because of this voltage, total current entering in the circuit is I. I1 is the current flowing through R1, and I2 is the current flowing through the R2. Now let's derive the current division rule. So by KCL law, you can state that this current is the entering at this node, and I1 and I2 are leaving at this node. So total current should be equal to I1 plus I2. Entering current equal to leaving current. And now you can write I1 with respect to I, so I minus I2, and I2 with respect to I minus I1. Clear this Kirchhoff's current law? Now what is I1? I1 is the current flowing through the R1. What it will be the value? So it will be the value like voltage divided by R1. What is the voltage here? Here voltage is V and resistance is R1. So current will be voltage divided by resistance. So I1 will be your V by R1. Similarly, I2, current flowing through resistance R2. So voltage across resistance R2 is V and resistance is R2. So I2 will be your V by R2. Now you got the I1 and I2. Now from this equation, total current is your I1 plus I2. So in place of I1, you can write V by R1. In place of I2, you can write V by R2. Now V is common because these are parallel circuits. Voltage is same. You can take it as a common. So if you are taking V as a common, so 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 will be inside the bracket. Now from here only, find the value of the current. Clear? So take this to this side. So value of the voltage equal to current multiply by the inverse of this term. Clear? So V equal to I. Now solve this. When you solve this, you will get this value. R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear? So that is your Kirchhoff's. From here you have derived the voltage, total voltage with respect to total current with respect to total resistance. Since what is this? These are the equivalent resistance of two resistors connected parallel. Here R1 and R2 are connected in parallel. So R equivalent will be your R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2, and total voltage was your V, total current was your I. So this is nothing but a Ohm's law. Total voltage equal to total current multiplied with total resistance. Now you got the value of V. Now put the value of V in I1 and I2. When you put the value of V in I1 and I2, you will get I1 equal to I in this value, R2 divided by R1 plus R2, and I2 will be I R1 plus R2. So this is only the current division rule. It is now see here what it is stating that it is stating that the current in any branch you can find by the opposite resistance divided by the total resistance R1 plus R2 multiply with total current. Similarly, current see here current in the second branch is equal to the resistance of the first branch divided by total resistance multiply with total current. So this is only the current division rule. So if you have to find the currents in different parallel branches present in your circuit, then you can apply this simple formula here. And how to remember the formula? For finding the current, always take the opposite resistance. Here, always take, see I2 R1, always take the opposite resistance. So this was your current division rule when two resistors are connected. Similarly, if two inductors are connected in parallel, so equivalent inductance will be 1 by L equivalent equal to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2 because these inductors are connected in parallel. Inductors behaves as a resistor only. So for inductor also formula will be same, I1 equal to I L2 divided by L1 plus L2. See opposite inductance. Here also opposite inductance. Now for capacitance. But capacitance, this C equivalent will be your C1 plus C2, two parallel connected capacitance. Then equivalent capacitance will be the C1 plus C2. Here I1 will be equal to I into C1. Same. Why same? Because here you have to write the 1 upon C2 divide by 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. When you solve, you will get like this. Capacitance behave opposite of that of resistance, because Xc, whatever capacitance impedance is there, reactance is there, that is 1 upon 2 pi f of C. Means your ohm value is inversely proportional to your capacitance value. But here inductor XL, inductive reactance, that is the ohm value of inductor is equal to 2 pi f of L. So ohm value XL is directly proportional to L. That's why here ohm value is directly proportional to L. So inductor behaves like as a resistor, means directly, and capacitance opposite. So for next is, if n number of branches are connected, for example n number of branches are connected and resistance value is given, and n number of currents will be there in all the branches and total current is there. So how to write your current division formula? So I1 equal to, means current flowing in the first branch, equal to total current. Then like this, 1 upon R1 divided by 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1, that is that, plus 1 upon R1. So this formula you can apply if n number of branches are there. So this was about the Kirchhoff's current law and the current division rule. How to derive the current division rule and how to remember the formula and how to apply for different circuits. If resistors are there connected in parallel, or inductors are connected in parallel, or the capacitors are connected in parallel. Now let's see the Kirchhoff's second law. So Kirchhoff's second law is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So what is that voltage law? So it states that in any closed loop network, the total voltage around the loop is equal to the sum of all the voltage drops within the same loop, and which should be also equal to 0. Clear? And that Kirchhoff's voltage law is based on the principle of law of conservation of energy, because voltage is related to energy. That's why there is a conservation of energy. Kirchhoff's current law, current was related to charge. That's why there was conservation of charge. So Kirchhoff's voltage law based on the principle of law of conservation of energy. Also, KVL you can state that algebraic sum of the voltages in a closed loop is equal to 0. Whatever voltages are present in a closed loop, that should be equal to 0. Whether that voltage rise is there or voltage drops are there. So total voltage present in a closed loop should be equal to 0. That is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So let's see how to write the Kirchhoff's voltage law in mathematical form. So let's say this voltage source voltage is applied here to three resistors R1, R2 and R3. Voltage drop across R1 is V1, voltage drop across R2 is V2, voltage drop across R3 is V3. So V1, V2 and V3 are the voltage drop, and Vs is your source voltage. Clear? So source voltage should be equal to all the voltages drop. That is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Clear? So here I have written V1 plus V2 plus V3 should be equal to Vs, or V1 plus V2 plus V3 minus of Vs is equal to 0. This is your Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now voltage drop. How you can find this voltage drop or voltage rise? See here, from low to high, from minus to positive. If you are moving from low to high, so if there is a voltage rise. Now here plus minus. If you are moving from plus minus, means there is a, you are moving from high to low. So this is a voltage drop. So this is voltage rise, and these are the voltages drop across the resistors. So this was your Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now let's see this circuit. In this circuit, two voltage sources are given, Vs1 and Vs2, and two resistors are given, R1 and R2. And the polarity of the voltages across resistors are given as plus minus V1, here plus minus V2. Now you have to write the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So total voltage rise should be equal to total drop. So see here, let's say you are moving like this, here from here to here. clockwise direction. So this is low potential, you are going to high potential. So if you are moving from low to high means this is a voltage rise. Clear? Now you are moving from positive to negative means high to low. So this is a voltage drop. Now here you are moving from the positive to negative means high potential to low potential. So this is a voltage drop. And now here you are moving from negative to positive means low to high. So this is a voltage rise. So total voltage rise is your Vs1 plus V2. It should be equal to total drop. Total drop is your V1 and Vs2. So voltage rise is equal to voltage drop in a closed circuit. This is called as a Kirchhoff's voltage law. Next, let's see one example in which you have to apply the KVL and find the different voltages drop. So this example I have taken here, you have to find the V1 and V2 of the shown circuit here. Let's say two voltage sources are connected. One voltage source is this 30 volt and another voltage source is 10 volt. Two resistors are there, R1 and R2. R1 is having a value of 6 ohm, R2 is having a value of 4 ohm. And the voltage drop across R1 is V1, voltage drop across R2 is V2. And polarity I have taken as plus minus, plus minus. Now let's the current flowing like this in clockwise direction and the value of current is I. You can take like this also. Clear? So now apply the KVL in this closed loop. Clear? So apply the KVL. So here you are moving from the low potential to high potential. So this is a voltage rise. So voltage rise equal to 30. Now here this is from low potential, from high potential to low potential. So this is your voltage drop. And from again positive to negative, so voltage drop, negative to positive, voltage rise. So total voltage rise is how much? 30 plus V2. How much total drop? Total drop is your V1 plus 10. So total rise equal to total drop. And what is the value of V1? V1 is nothing but 6 ohm resistor multiply with current. What is the value of V2? 4 ohm resistor multiply with current. Equate both the voltage drop equal to voltage rise. Find the value of current and then find V1 and V2. Like this you can do. Another method is that follow the sign convention. One sign convention you follow it. So let's say if you are moving in the direction of the current. Direction of current is clockwise and also while applying the KVL you are moving in the same direction. Then what you have to keep in mind, if the minus sign is coming first, then take it as a positive. And if for resistors, for drops, if you are moving in the same direction as that of current, then take that drop as a minus. Take sign convention as a minus. Similarly, if you are if positive, this terminal is coming first, then take it as a minus. And if you are moving in the direction of the current, then take it as drop, take it as a minus. That sign convention you can follow. Opposite also you can take, but this sign convention, always follow one sign convention. Clear? Either you write like total drop equal to total rise in a closed loop circuit, or you can write total voltages, algebraic sum of the voltages present in a circuit should be equal to 0. And for writing that equation, you have to follow a sign convention. So let's say whatever I am following, what that I am telling you, mark the direction of the current. And if you are moving in the same direction of the current, then for battery or voltage source, if minus sign is coming first, then take that value as a positive. And if you are moving in the direction of the current, then take that drop as a minus. And if you are moving opposite the direction of the current, then take that drop as a plus. Clear? So here I have applied, see here I am moving like this. So minus is coming first, so I have written positive plus 30. And now for this drop, 6 into I is the V1. And I am moving in the same direction. If you are moving in the same direction of the current, so take that as a minus. It will be 6I. Then positive is this high potential is coming first, so take as a minus. Now I am moving in the same direction, but minus is coming first, so I have written here 4i is equal to 0. Now calculate the current. Current will be your 30 minus 10 divided by 6 plus 4 equal to 2 ampere. Clear? Now here you got the current. Now you have to find the V1 and V2. In your question it was asked that V1 and V2. So V1 will be your this drop and V2 will be your this drop. So this drop is your how much? 6 into current I, and this drop will be 4 into current I. But whether this drop will be positive or this drop will be positive or this drop is negative or this drop is negative. So first V1, current is entering at the positive terminal. So sign for this current you have to take as a plus 2. This here no sign convention, only current you have find out. So this will be your 6 into plus 2, 12 is equal to 12. And V2 here current is entering to the minus sign. So 4 into minus 2 is equal to minus 8 volt. Clear? So this was about the KVL. How to apply the KVL, how to write the KVL, and how to apply the sign convention while writing the KVL. So next is your voltage division rule. So voltage division rule means if so many elements are connected in series and drops are given across all the elements, so how to find the individual drops with respect to your total supplied voltage. So let's say this circuit, two resistors are connected, R1 and R2. Voltage across the resistor R1 is V1. Voltage across the resistor R2 is V2. Total voltage applied is Vs and total current flowing in the circuit is I. So now you have to find the V1 and V2 with respect to Vs. That is only the voltage division rule. Means how your voltages are divided with respect to total voltages. So here only if these two resistors are connected in series, so equivalent resistance will be your R1 plus R2 and the total drop. This total voltage applied is equal to total drop. That is a KVL. So because of KVL you can write Vs equal to V1 plus V2. Now what is V1? V1 is a drop across R1. So V1 you can write as I into R1 because current is flowing. I, resistance is R1. Similarly, V2 will be your I into R2. Clear? So now let's see what will be the total resistance. So this total voltage. So total voltage will be V1 plus V2. In place of V1, you can write I into R1. In place of V2, you can write I into R2. And here I is common. Since this is a series circuit, so in series circuit, current is common. So take current as a common. So inside R1 plus R2. Here you got the Vs is equal to I into R1 plus R2. This is nothing but the total voltage equal to total current multiply with total resistance. From here only find the total current. So total current will be your total voltage divided by total resistance. Clear? Now find the V1 and V2. V1 is equal to I into R1. Here you got the I. Put the value of I here. So I will be your Vs divided by R1 plus R2 and this R1. Clear? So V1 will be your I into R1. In place of I have written this value. This, like this. Okay. So this is your voltage division rule. Similarly, you can find the V2 also. So V2 is equal to I into R2. Voltage drop across the resistance 2. So I into R2. So is equal to, in place of I, write the total voltage divided by R1 plus R2 and multiply with R2. So this is your total V2. So in voltage division rule, if you are finding the V1, then same resistance you have to take. Divide by total resistance, multiply with total voltage. Here same resistance. In current division rule, the resistance was opposite resistance. So similarly, two inductance are connected in series. So same formula you have to apply for inductance, and for capacitance, the formula will be opposite here. In place of V1, you have to take the opposite capacitance. Here, so this is for the current division when two capacitance are connected. in series. Now there are some conclusions about the KVL and KCL. So what is that conclusion? Now one is your field theory and another is your network theory. So field theory you can apply for the low frequency systems and high frequency system also. In field theory approach can be applied for low frequency and high frequency applications, but your network theory concepts can be applied only for the low frequency applications. You cannot apply the network theory concepts. Whatever network theory concepts are there, either the whether the KCL or KVL or Ohm's law or current division rule or any concept related to network theory, you can apply it only for the low frequency applications. Here, so KVL and KCL fails for high frequency circuits. You cannot apply the KVL and KCL for for high frequency circuits. You can apply only for the low frequency circuit. This is one conclusion. Another conclusion is that KVL and KCL fails for the distributed parameters. Two types of parameters are there. One is your lumped parameters, another the distributed parameters. I will explain what do you mean by lumped parameters and distributed parameters. First, listen here. KVL and KCL also fails for the distributed parameters. Why? Since in distributed parameters electrically, it is not possible to separate the resistance, inductance and capacitance effect. Distributed means whatever elements are there, whether the element is resistance or the inductance or the capacitance, all the elements are distributed in a circuit. They are not present at a point. They are not, so you cannot apply if they are distributed parameters. So electrically it is not possible to separate them. Already they are distributed in a circuit. So if you are not able to separate them, then you cannot apply the KVL and KCL. So KVL and KCL fails for distributed parameters. So KVL and KCL can only be applied for the lumped parameters. Parameter circuits, whether that circuit is linear, non-linear, unidirectional, bidirectional, time variant or time invariant elements. So one conclusion is that KVL and KCL can be applied only for the low frequency applications, and KVL and KCL can be applied only for the lumped parameter circuits, circuits in which the parameters are present at one point. Means you can separate those parameters. It is possible to separate, but if they are present distributed, then it is not possible to separate them. For example, let's say this circuit. Here resistance is present at a point, another point inductance is there and the capacitance is there. So these elements are presented as a lumped. These are working as a lumped parameter. These are not distributed in our full circuit. Here, so here you can apply the KVL and KCL law. And now, let's say here 1 ohm resistance is there. This resistance is present at a one point. So this is a lumped circuit. Now let's say distributed circuit. This 1 ohm resistor is distributed in the full circuit. So you cannot separate it. So if you are not able to separate electrically, so if it is not possible to separate, so this you cannot apply the KVL and KCL. So this is an example of distributed circuit. This resistor is uniformly distributed along the entire length of the wire. Here and here in the entire length of the wire, this resistance is present only at a point. And here this resistance, 1 ohm resistance, is uniformly distributed along the entire length of the wire. So this is distributed parameters. So here you can't separate. So you can't write the KVL and KCL. Here another example is that distributed parameter is transmission lines, long transmission lines. So in long transmission lines also here, these R, L and C, these are distributed parameters. These are present along the entire length of the transmission lines. So in long transmission lines also, you cannot apply the KVL and KCL. For mathematical purpose, for solving the mathematically transmission lines, we are assuming only a part of transmission lines, and there we are assuming these parameters as lumped parameters. Then only we are applying the KVL and KCL. Otherwise, for long transmission lines, you cannot apply the KVL and KCL. See? But here you can apply the Ohm's law. Ohm's law can be applied here, but KVL KCL fails for distributed parameters. Now another example take here. This example where one diode is there connected with the resistor and the external supply is here. Clear? So in this circuit also KVL and KCL can be applied because this is a lumped parameter. This is resistance is not present entire the length of the line. So here KVL and KCL you can apply, but in this circuit you cannot apply the Ohm's law. Why? Because Ohm's law can be applied only for the linear circuits and diode is your non-linear. So here Ohm's law you cannot apply, but KVL and KCL can be applied. So these were the two conclusions related to KVL and KCL. First one is that KVL KCL fails for the high frequency circuits and KVL KCL fails for the distributed parameters. And I have shown here the examples of distributed parameters and the lumped parameters. Clear? So this was about the Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. I hope that you have understood. So that's all for the today's class. Next class we'll discuss the another topic. Or next class we'll do some examples or problems related to uh, how to find the equivalent resistance, how to find the equivalent capacitance, or how to find the equivalent inductance, or related to KVL and KCL. So next class we'll do some examples and then do some new concepts related to star and delta formation, conversion, transformation. So thank you for the today's class.